Welcome to Ask an Expert, where a technical product expert answers questions from our customers. Hello, this is John Appleson, Marketing Manager with Pepperl+Fuchs. Today I'm joined by Tracy Molnar. Tracy works as an application engineer here at Pepperl+Fuchs. So welcome, Tracy, and thanks for being here.
Hi, John. Thanks for asking me.
Okay, the first question asked about the NJ15 plus U4 plus W inductive sensor, and the customer would like to know if this sensor is submergible. Tracy, is this sensor waterproof?
Yes, it is. The sensor in this question has a limit switch style housing with a protection rating of IP68, which means it can go underwater without damage to the internal electronics, which are encapsulated against the ingress of dust or liquid under certain conditions. The customer should keep in mind, though, that when he wires the sensor using the terminal compartment base, if that part of the sensor is to be submerged, he'll have to provide waterproof cable fittings to protect against water entering the terminal compartment through the cable entrance.
Tracy, this customer would like to know what the pin 3 is in a standard inductive sensor with connector. He's also interested in knowing how the LED gets its power. Can you please explain?
Sure. To answer the first question about the pin out of this sensor, the customer should consult the connection diagram on the datasheet. Pins 1 and 3 are used to connect the 10 to 30 volt DC operating voltage that powers the sensor and its output circuits. Pin 1, labeled L+, is the power supply positive connection, and pin 3, labeled L-, is the negative power supply connection. Pins 2 and 4 are the complementary PNP outputs, one or both of which can be connected to a load, which is represented in the diagram by the small rectangles between the sensor and the DC negative. The customer's second question asks how the sensor's LED indicator is powered. The sensing mechanism and any LEDs or output circuits all get their power from the 10 to 30 volt DC operating voltage supplied across pins 1 and 3.
Tracy, this next customer is wondering if the NJ12GK SN is the right inductive sensor for his application. He states that he requires a sensor for transmitting the open and closed position on a valve actuator, and he would like a mounting kit to position the sensor on the actuator. Could you share your thoughts on this?
Yeah, that's just a standard inductive sensor in a 12 millimeter cylindrical housing, and it comes with 2 mounting nuts, so that's how it's mounted. We do offer a variety of brackets for use in mounting M12 cylindrical housings, but there aren't any mounting kits specifically designed for valve actuators. I think maybe he wants to look at our series of inductive sensors in special housings that are designed to be mounted on standard actuators, because these have 2 sensing areas, each with a corresponding output, one for the valve open position and one for the valve closed position. And there are mounting kits available for these sensors, which include target pucks for installation on the actuator shaft.
In this next application, a customer has an 8 millimeter inductive sensor with a V1 suffix in the model number and would like to know if this is a pigtail version, as he needs to fully embed this sensor into a block. Tracy, is the customer able to use this sensor in the manner he desires?
Not this model. The one that he has listed has a V1 at the end, and that means it has an M12 connector. Now, M12 is going to be bigger than the M8 thread that's on that sensor housing. And he'd be able to find this information if he downloaded the data sheet for it. This sensor's datasheet has a diagram on it with dimensions, and it shows the M8 threaded housing with a widened part that goes to an M12 connector. What he wants is the one that does not end in V1, it just ends in the C-FE, and that, as he could see from that sensor's datasheet, does have a pigtail cable with no connector at the end. He'd also be able to see there is a part of that housing that's smaller than M8 and is not threaded, but he could still embed that in his block.
Well, that concludes this segment of Ask an Expert. I want to thank Tracy for joining me today and thank our audience as well. For additional information, here are 5 easy ways to connect with us.